Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we're going to get into revenge. I want revenge on my ex. Why am I so angry with my ex? Good topics, things I've talked about before. Been doing this for 5 years. If you want to go to writemac.com, send your story in or book a live coaching session, writemac.com. Let's get into it. Why revenge? You are hurt and want to hurt them. Punch for punch. So this is the problem. The impulsive reaction of a human being is to make the other person feel what they feel. Happy people like to joke around and make you smile. Hurt people want to hurt you. The problem is, where does it end? Where does it end? Does it end at, you got me hurt, I got you hurt, now we'll stop? That's fair? No. The problem is you get revenge, you do something really hurtful, you feel good for 10 seconds. Usually it's not even that long. And then reality hits and now they've gotten you back. So however low you're going to go, someone else is going to go lower. If someone was in a street fight, right? I've seen this before actually. Someone pulls out a small knife. The other guy ran away. This is actually a true story. The guy runs away from the fight. The guy pulled out like a little pocket knife. I said, wow, that was kind of cheap, right? That's kind of a cheap move to pull out a knife in a fist fight. And it happened in an apartment complex where I lived. The guy comes back with a shovel that he picked up on a construction site and said, ready to go. Now, someone doesn't think of a shovel as a weapon, but compared to a pocket knife, I don't know what's worse. My point is, when you get revenge or you go low, the other person is completely capable of going lower or worse. So what are you opening up? You're entering a snake pit. Okay. So think twice. It's really good when you have vengeful thoughts or revenge. It's human. You're not crazy. You're not a piece of crap. You're allowed to have dark thoughts and not go through with them. Number two, it's primarily ego. Okay. We can all agree that it's ego. And the ego is telling you, do this for me. Do this to show everyone else that you aren't hurt. Do this to show this person being humiliated, right? Number three, creative, constructive thoughts. Now, the interesting thing about revenge, think about this for a minute, okay? Revenge, you can get really creative, right? You can chew on this and have some thoughts of how you're going to construe the plan, and you get into it and your mind starts getting constructive, creative thoughts. Now, that's a positive thing. You start thinking about ways to get revenge where you're like, wow, that would be kind of cool. That's impressive. Channel those creative, constructive thoughts into, how am I going to start dating again? How am I going to get over this? How am I going to start getting back on deck? Revenge is not the place you want to create constructive thoughts. Now, if you are going through it, journal it out, have a laugh, and then put it away. Number four, you won't be proud of this in a year or two. If you get hardcore revenge on your ex, and I got a story on deck where an individual is talking about doing this, you, in a year or 2 years, when you're over it, you're moved on, you're not going to go, oh, I'm really glad I got that revenge. It's actually going to be a black eye on the history of your life. Okay. It's not going to be something that you feel good about. And revenge has no expiration date. Like I said before, you do something really messed up to that person, they're probably going to counterpunch. Now, on to the other topic. Why are you still angry? Anger is an emotion that is very common during a breakup and is actually surprisingly at the back end of the recovery. So a lot of people think they'd be angry in the beginning. It depends on the events. It's situational. Every breakup's different. Now, here's the crazy thing. People that feel guilty, like they did something wrong or they weren't enough, they go through a phase of guilt and sorrow and pity and victimhood and wanting to do things just to get back together. And then when they get to the anger phase, it might be 8 months, 9 months, 10 months down the road because they're like, actually, I was a pretty good partner. Actually, I've been waiting around all this time and you haven't even called me. So anger creeps in there. And really what it is it's a culmination of anger with frustration and hurt. Because you've been sitting on the sidelines, you haven't been checked in on, they don't even care about you. Things have switched. The original narrative was maybe you weren't enough, maybe you did something wrong, you already said sorry for it. The list goes on. You get to 8, 9, 10 months and you're still thinking about them. Now you're frustrated. Now you're annoyed. Now you're upset. Now you're hurt. And then you translate it into anger. Number 2, some people feel like it's not fair. It's not fair. They got to keep the house. They got a new boyfriend. They got a new girlfriend. It's not fair. This is another reason why you're angry. Post breakup, they're doing really well on paper, on Instagram, on social media, through your contacts. You're doing really bad. It's not fair. So you're angry about that. You got left holding half the bag. It's not fair. I'm in a worse position than they are. The reality is, life is not fair in most cases. And the book hasn't been written yet post breakup. Because first year, first 6 months, it could look like rose petals and wine glasses, that your ex has met someone else, that they're doing great at their job. 6 years down the road, they're a mess and they call you out of the blue. You never know. Life is a marathon, not a race. Always remember that. Number 3, they didn't appreciate or love you. Now, this is just a narrative that people have spun post breakup because for 8 months, 10 months, 11 months, a year, you haven't been called. So you translate that, well, you don't care. Well, you don't love me. But the situation could be, this has happened before. Someone has lost feelings for their boyfriend or girlfriend of 10 years, of 5 years, and they feel bad about it. Or they met someone else and they feel bad about it. And really calling you up for pity or to check in with you when you want them back is actually not a good thing. It is not an admirable thing. If they know you want them back, you have a higher set of feelings for them, and you're moved on from them, there's something about them that you couldn't let go, you were never that attracted to them. Here's what guys don't realize. There's some women that go on dates, they're in it for 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever, and then they just become unattracted. Someone else comes onto the scene and they move on. And the guy's like, what did I miss? People can change their feelings, especially in the first 6 months to a year. Okay. And this happens a lot. And someone takes it personal. They think they didn't do what they liked. And then if they don't contact them again, it's like they never appreciated me. They never loved me. They never cared about me. No, actually, they're doing you a favor by not calling you, because if they're not interested in getting back together and that's all you want, then they would be leading you on. If they want to be friends with you and that's not what you want, well, that's a selfish act by them. Number 4, this isn't how they were supposed to be post breakup. So this comes up a lot. People do this thing where they go, well, I always thought she would come back, or I always thought that our relationship was bigger than that. So now that time has prevailed, I thought no contact was going to work. I thought this, I thought that. I thought a lot of things too, and I got them wrong. That's just how it is. There's not a lot of psychics out there running their lives, and even psychics don't call everything right, or they'd win the lottery every time. This isn't how they were supposed to be post-breakup. And the problem with this is, post-breakup, you've had a few makeup to breakups, makeup to breakup. You've had situations with past girlfriends or boyfriends or husbands or wives where you came through something like this and now you're not. And so now you're frustrated, you're hurt, and you're angry. You're angry. Number 5, I'm still hurt. Just processing it different, feeling guilty or sorry, didn't do anything. So this is an interesting way to look at it. Post-breakup, you're angry. You're upset. You don't even understand why. But if you look back at your whole breakup experience, maybe in the beginning you were guilty, you were sorry, you were willing to do whatever it takes, and that didn't work. That costume, that identity, that actor, that character didn't work. And now you're pissed because you're like, I went out of my way to be nice. I did everything. I bought them flowers. I showed up at work. I wore lingerie a week later and just posted a picture to them. The list goes on. It didn't work. So now you're angry. You're frustrated. You're hurt. You're rejected. When you're in this situation, when you're angry, it's not a bad place to be. You just don't want to be there for a year, right? Vent. Tell your friends. Tell me as your coach. Just had a situation today. Just vent. All the angry things that come up to your mind. Get them out. And then let them go. Acting out of revenge post-breakup, you'll never win that. You're just prolonging the inevitable of the pain of the breakup, right? So if you got any questions, put them in the comments. If not, that's fine. We got 4 on deck here. And I have 2 situations that aren't pure breakups, but if you have a situation you want to send in, please send it in to writemac.com. So the first one's a dating situation. Pretty interesting here. And please, like I said, in the comments, if you have something you want to bring up or you want to ask me a question on it, throw it in there. And I might even take a live call today, possibly. All right, let's get into it. Hey, coach, I just started dating this woman whom I'm really interested in. I usually don't get excited about women off the jump like this. It's just that our conversations and interests line up so well. I'm also ultra attracted to her. Ultra. And even think about her in my free time, kind of like a high school crush. Well, that would be ultra attraction, right? Now we've gone on 2 dates. That went well, but a guy that works with her and separately has business affiliation with me said they were sort of dating and told me this before I started actually dating her. I'm not sure what to even make of someone saying they're sort of dating. If I had to guess, that would mean they've went out. He has feelings for her, but they haven't hooked up, and it hasn't been clarified that the reason why they're going out is a date. So what I would guess on that is that this guy is trying to put a fence around her, because if she's hot, here's the thing about women that are high school crush material. What I mean by that is you're not in high school, but you know what I mean, that you can't stop thinking about her. Other guys are thinking about her too. She's hot. She's good looking. She's got something about her. It's just like I say, when you walk into a bar or restaurant, you walk in with a group of 5 buddies and one buddy's like, oh man, that girl over there, I've already seen her. I spotted her in the first millisecond we walked in here. The one in the right corner with the curly hair. Yeah, I saw her, bro. Oh, yeah. And that's your hyper obnoxious friend. It's like, yeah, we all saw her and everyone likes her. Everyone thinks she's the one. Okay. There are women like that. Okay. So if that's the case, this guy's, basically putting a fence around the situation. I wouldn't see him as a threat. I would be curious if she would think that she was kind of dating. Kind of dating to me means that he likes her. He's interested, sort of, and they haven't hooked up yet, and he's not sure of her feelings. Now, if they haven't already hooked up, it would have just been a clean, like we've been dating. It wouldn't be like, move your head like this, right? And usually, if the woman's interested, they would have hooked up at some point, right? So he's using their interactions, which have been solid or good, as a way of saying, yeah, we're kind of together, right? What does that mean? Now this guy isn't a good friend of mine, but we do business together, and I wouldn't want to lose that business relationship. She hasn't mentioned him at all, but I do know they hang out sometimes. But I also can't see her going for him because he's like 20 years older than her. Well, if he's got money, he's a businessman, don't put it past her to be interested. I've just had a comment on an old video I made about a 15-year age gap. And this guy was like, this is the most ridiculous advice I've ever heard. You got to remember something. I've been doing this for 5 years now. All I've done in this last 5 years is primarily breakups. Okay. And so what you don't realize is getting to breakups is like reverse engineering the relationship. Everyone wants to know how to date. Everyone wants to know how to find love, how to find their purpose. It's like going to the breakup part is going to the end and really realizing your faults, why you're filtering wrong. You learn a lot in these situations. It's actually really good to listen to this channel even when you're not in a breakup, because it puts things in perspective. Okay. So when someone says to me, "Oh, any guy that's 20 years older or 15 years older can get a woman," I agree. Women are attracted to older, successful men. Absolutely. Especially women with daddy issues. Okay. Especially. It's not a problem. I don't look down upon it. I have friends that are like that. And if I'm at a certain age and I'm dating a woman 10, 15 years younger, cool. I don't see any kind of bad about that. My point is, there's usually a shelf life on it. Okay. If you're dating some guy that's 65 and you're 35, yeah, it might seem great. I've had a client recently. Oh, he just got so old so quick. Now, now we've got a home care coming over. She's 40. The guy's 78. Oh, I didn't do it to get the marriage visa or anything. I didn't ask you that, hon, but obviously that's what you did. Okay. My point is, it's not Benjamin Button. Okay. So there is going to be a point where there's a shorter expiration date on that relationship. It's more likely to be a fling. It's more likely to be a couple years. Now, the caveat to that big age gap is, if the guy's ultra rich and famous, sure, more likely to stay. My point is, I wouldn't see it as much. I would see it as less of a threat if they have that big of an age gap. That being said, she could still fall for him or be into him. Him saying they're sort of together, sort of dating, I think he's reaching and he knows it. I would not ask him or her about it. I would date, if you've been on a, I think I know what you'll say, but give me your take on this. Should I ask her about this dude or if she's seeing anyone else? No, you've been on 2 dates. Let me see. Now we've gone on 2 dates that went well. Okay, so you've clarified it's a date. Okay, he hasn't even clarified what he's doing. He's dating. Here's what I would say. Don't mention it to him and don't mention it to her. If it becomes an issue, then that means that you've escalated things with an ultra hot woman that you have a big crush on. And then you'll have to make a business decision. A lot of things in life are a trade-off. So you might have to sacrifice this business relationship, or the guy might surprise you and go, you know what? Well played, my friend. But I don't think you need to get him involved unless you all work together in the same business or company. Then it would be a big problem. But if she's not saying something, I don't think you need to bring it up and create an awkward situation. I would just focus on going on a third good date and hooking up. And then down the road, it will come up by chance. But I wouldn't investigate, hey, have you guys been seeing each other? She'll probably bring it up and go, hey. And then maybe if you get into 5, 6, 7 dates, when you start to get closer, you've had some intimacy, you've locked in that she's attracted to you, that she likes seeing you, you could mention, hey, so-and-so mentioned that you guys were kind of dating. Is there something there? Are you guys still seeing each other? The only reason I ask is we have a business affiliation. I would not bring it up now. It's too early in the game and it's uncomfortable to answer. If I had to guess, like I said, I think he's stretching the truth here. It's not something I usually do. Should I ask her about this dude or anyone else? It's not something I'd usually do, so don't do it. I also feel like I'm a little nervous before dates. Were there any suggestions on that? Once we go out, I'm pretty cool. The easiest thing to do before going on a date, ice cold shower, a sprint around the block with a shower after, just to get out that nervous anxiety energy, push-ups. These are things that are active that you can go with, or you can do the tapping technique where you just go, even though I'm really nervous right now, I'm okay. I accept it. I accept that I'm nervous to go on this date. I know I'm going to have a good date. I know that this woman wants to go out with me. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm okay. I accept it. I'm okay. I'm okay. So these tapping, you just go through that, and all you're doing is you're accepting that you got some anxiety. You're accepting that you're a little worried, and then that way you can go through it. The minute you accept something that you're scared of, you can get through it. Okay? Even though I'm really nervous about going on this date because she's hot, I'm okay. I know I've been on good dates before, and I'll be fine. That's your self-talk, my friend. Now, we have one more situation. I'm going to check in on the live stream. Great stream. What's up, Mad Inventor? I was just wondering where you've been. where I've always been, my friend, the beach. Anyone want to chime in on this situation? Have you had a situation where you've worked with someone you're attracted to, or have had a situation where a friend said he was kind of seeing someone or dating someone that you were interested in? Throw it in the comments. Hello, Coach Mac. I'm strongly considering confronting my ex of 3.5 weeks at her job tomorrow. Okay, so bottom line, right from the get-go, no. No bueno. Why? You don't publicly humiliate or shame people. Okay? That's probably one of the lowest things we can do in society as human beings. We're social creatures. That's evident. We care what family and friends think, even though we shouldn't. If you go and confront someone in a public place, it's extremely low. There's not a lot of reasons to do that. Now, I don't know if they stole a bunch of money from you, but when you have a breakup situation and you've been hurt, really, sometimes people that are there or the audience, they're going to get a kick out of this. This is why Jerry Springer was so popular, Maury Povich. You're creating a situation where you're thinking that you're making a fool out of yourself, but you're also making a fool out of you because you're going public with something you were a part of that you think, oh, this will just humiliate or upset them. Don't do it just from the first sentence. I know she's been dating her boss while we were together, and I just found out for sure where it was verified by a mutual friend. Okay, so the case is closed. You know she's been dating this other guy. I want to confront her and let everyone know at their work that she's a cheat. Okay, so you've seen the show Cheaters? Really? I mean, I know that you want to be vengeful. This is what we were talking about earlier in the segment. I want revenge on my ex. It's never going to feel good for a year or 2 years down the road. And here's the part you're not getting. How smooth is this going to really go? It's not the movies. It's not a TV show. It's not Maury Povich with security guards in the audience. So you just think it's going to go smoothly? They could call the police. The guy could want to fight you, which, you know what? If you're a great fighter, maybe that's what you want. But where does it end? So if you're dealing with the goal post breakup, when someone's cheated on you and you find out, isn't to go down and make a public event of it. That's going to elevate and amplify the situation. The goal is to get to a place where you can be content and accept what happened, move on and start dating again. Because the people in the audience at the job aren't going to feel like, oh yeah, she really deserves it. They're going to think, damn, this dude's a sore loser. Right? I want to confront her and let everyone at their work know she's a cheat. If I don't go there tomorrow, I've also thought about making a sign and hiring some homeless guys to carry protest style sign that reads her name and that she's for the streets, or maybe put both their pictures, which is something simple like cheaters work here. You know what? That sounds cute and funny, right? People in the live stream might be laughing about that. And it's exactly my point about when you get into revenge, you start getting creative and constructive, and it's fun. It's like, oh, that would be a good idea. Let me get this guy to have a protest sign out in front and make an idiot out of him. He writes, I've got more ideas. Tell me why I shouldn't do this, please. I'll write right away. Number one, you're hurt, so you're trying to hurt her. Right? It's a punch to the gut, so you're giving her a mental punch to the gut back. The reality is it's not going to end here. He or she is going to get you back and possibly get you back worse. Number three, it's a public place. It's not going to go smooth. You think the audience is all going to be on your side? Right? You think that if you confronted her on a phone call or a letter or an email or a text, right? There's a variety of ways she could respond. If you confront her at work and put her on the spot, that's cornering someone. Look out. You're just assuming this is going to go all in your favor, and there's a lot of variables here, right? And you won't be proud of this in a year. What I would tell you, go ahead and write out all the scenarios. Come up with some more creative ideas that you can get revenge. Write them all out, and then take that book, that journal, or whatever the piece of paper you wrote it on and put it away and go, I'll think about it again tomorrow. I'm not going to do it today. I'll think again about it tomorrow. Go for a run, get some exercise, go to a sauna, get an ice bath, do something to change your physiology. Go for a dead sprint in the middle of your street. Make sure there's no cars there, please. You got what I'm saying? Now, some people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. All right, fine. Waffle away over how you can get revenge in creative styles. That's fine. Don't do it. It's just not going to be that smooth. I knew a guy that literally had, what he did with this was a long one. They were in a marriage of 20 something years. And when I say 20 years, he was still in his early 40s. They got married young. They had 2 kids, highly successful individual, made really good money. Came out with some further details when we got into the session that they hadn't had sex in 3 years because she said she's just not into it. And he just accepted it. That being said, they stayed together. The kids got to college ages. Anyhow, he had a little bit of intuition that she was screwing around. Surprise, surprise. She doesn't sleep with him for 3 years, or they sleep in the same room, but they don't hook up, right? So he put, from what I remember, a tape recorder, the phone, and he left it on record in her bag. Now, this seems like she wouldn't notice this. She was screwing her boss, which he wasn't sure of, and he got their conversation going to lunch through the recording. I think he was using a phone. It might have been a tape recorder. When I say tape recorder, that sounds so ancient. Recording device, let's just say that. And basically, she was saying dirty things to the guy, bragging about how much she liked to hook up with him. I mean, it was evident after he got that recorded segment that she had cheated. I mean, it was getting recorded on what she was saying was evident. The evidence was there. The case was closed. Now, instead of confronting her, he sent the audio clip via email to the guy and her immediately that afternoon and said, I know everything. She didn't come home for 2 weeks. Okay. Which the kids were like, what's going on? The guy that was her boss sent him an immediate email through his lawyer to discard that recording, that it was illegally done. Okay. Now, I don't have a problem with him doing the recording because he needed to find out if it was true or not. Now, if he would have took that recording and played it for the whole office that she worked at, he could have been in legal trouble. So you might think to yourself, well, that would serve that boss right. But really, what are you doing with your life? You want to get into a legal battle with some guy that's been porking your wife for a long time? I mean, is that going to make things better or worse? It's going to make it worse. Any interaction with that guy now is going to be worse and worse. He eventually pulled away. And once he had evidence of the recording, it's not like that's going to hold up in court for him to get money or to get anything else, right? Because it wasn't a legal recorded message. And I believe, I'm not positive, I believe in the state of California, you can't do that. But if you would have went to the workplace and made a public scene, this guy that was the boss of that company that had deep pockets would have sued the hell out of him. And like I said, it just makes it worse. You haven't slept with your wife in 3 years, right? You found out what you needed to find out. Now you need to lick your wounds, right? You need to accept what happened. And like he did, he booked an appointment. We did a coaching session, really helped him out. We did some hypnosis work, really helped him out, right? He's in a new relationship now, because this was like 6 years ago. No, 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And this, when he came to me, it was months after the breakup. It was months after the breakup. He was carrying this for a long time. And a lot of people like this. I call it whistleblowing. Oh, I got all this evidence on what my ex did. A lot of people don't care that much. I mean, it's juice for them. It's gossip. You think that they're going to get on your sideline and go rah, rah, rah. Really, they're going like, stop sharing that with people. That's your wife. The minute he found that out, it's like, share it with a few people, right? Vent. But then what you need to do is go, am I going to get up off the mat? Or am I going to be a victim? Am I going to be pitiful? Am I going to blow the whistle and tell everyone I know, everyone that'll listen, all their workmates, what happened? It's not going to make you feel better. It's probably going to make you feel worse, because really what you got to do is accept I'm hurt. I'm upset. Talk to a professional like myself or someone else out there and get deep down into your feelings and stop going for surface based stuff. It's a knee jerk reaction. This isn't even about um, morals and values or integrity, which is a whole nother ball of wax. When you start sacrificing your integrity, and integrity means doing the right thing when you don't want to do the right thing, when no one's looking. It's going to be a snowball domino effect, like, oh, this is the way I'm going to do the rest of my life. It's really going to backfire on you. All right, let me get into the comments real quick. How did she not know the device was in her purse? I don't know. It could have been a big bag. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what size, if it was a phone or if it was a recording device, but I don't think it would be that difficult. There's people I know now that use tracking devices on cars, and that seems extremely simple to set up. I have no idea how that works. There's people that, this is very common now, and this might shock some people out there on the live stream. The amount of clients or people I've known in the past that are regularly getting access to their partner's, not just social media, but your, like WhatsApp. Everyone uses, I think, Signal, WhatsApp. We use different things, right, in different places. And basically, I guess there's ways to hack into this quite easily, or just know your password. And I would say this is really common. And the crazy thing about it is a lot of people just, sometimes they assume some things, but sometimes then they find something and they don't say anything because they want to see how much further the lie will go. It's really interesting. I don't know if there would ever be a study on this or what, but it's extremely interesting to see how many people hold the information that they know their partner's screwing around or emotionally cheating. Instead of confronting them on it, they'll continue to track them as if they want to see if they'll tell the truth. Very common. Lesson: always check your purse before you leave the house if you're cheating. I've had many people tell me, I wish they weren't so stupid and got caught. Where's B? B's out today. He'll be back on deck at some point. But going back to this topic today, you have this happen. You get angry at your ex, you get angry at your boss, you get angry at family members. You get angry. If you had siblings when you were young, how many times were you really pissed off at your sister and brother and did something really bad to them or hurt them? You don't look back and go, yeah, I got my sister on that one. Yeah, I wish I would have done that. Usually is the case, right? You might look back and go, they kind of deserved it. Fortunately, in most families, brothers and sisters, because you got to live together, you end up over time forgiving each other, hopefully. It's funny because it's when you get older that you have more people that are stubborn about forgiving. All right, I'm going to open this up for questions. I'll give you guys a few minutes if anyone's got a question. If anyone wants to talk about a specific relationship issue, I could give you a live line where you can call in and not show your picture. I'm willing to do that today. We got 9 on deck. I'll give that a few minutes. Just in the comments. Anyone had an ex get revenge on you, or you've taken revenge, a revengeful act on them? I'm just curious. Has that ever happened? Or you've done something post breakup that you regretted? Or maybe you say, like, actually, I don't mind because they deserved it. Personally, I think in this day and age, one of the lowest things it's done, I haven't seen it a lot, but I feel like it's pretty low, is when people go to their social media accounts and air out relationship issues. I think that's extremely low. Uh, it's extremely shallow, but it also tells you a lot about that partner and that they invest a lot into their social media group. Because I think it's quite normal when someone's in a relationship issue or problem to air stuff out to a friend, family member, or even just a work colleague that's not even a good friend. It's just available. When you go out to the peanut gallery, you go to the cheap seats and you drop something like that, and then your partner can see it or you're hiding it from them, that seems like in the 21st century to be one of the lower things. I would say that that's a major character flaw. And if that's something that they're going to do regularly, that just tells me that they're looking for a lot of attention via social media. I just get a bigger, better boyfriend. That's my revenge. Well, that's good. And really, here's the thing. If you do end up getting a bigger, better, what do you even mean by bigger? Bigger, better boyfriend. If you end up with a better, more likable, kind hearted individual that matches up better than you won't really want revenge. You'll be thankful that it happened, right? All right. I think we're going to call it on that. Appreciate you guys all. Please put in the comments below if you have anything you want me to talk about in a future live stream. There'll be more live streams on deck next week. I've been off the airwaves, I don't know, for the last month. I've only done a couple. I've been asked, whoever's on here right now still, by some clients that say, maybe do less live streams and more videos. Let me know if there's a topic you want me to touch on. Put it in the comments below if there's a question or a situation that you're going through, and I'll get to it in a future live stream. Otherwise, it's curtains.